Hey guys, what's going on? Your old buddy Tim back in the Revolved Realty studio. Nice and toasty today. Got the heat on, got my nice cup of coffee working. It's not a $6 Starbucks, but that's pretty darn good. Hey, hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we are talking about the 4 things you need to consider before you put your house on the market. Now, there are way more than 4 things to think about, but I think these are the primary points that you should consider and a good starting point. The first, of course, is the price. How much are you going to ask for your home? Now, a lot of folks will just it's the Shrek method. They pull the wax out of the ear or other body parts. You need to figure out the price of your home that is realistic. And you don't want to ask your neighbor, you don't ask your bowling buddies, you don't just take the house across the street that's sold, you don't take that price, because every house is unique. So when you are pricing your house, you need to do research in the market. And don't just go to Zillow and get a Zestimate, because it's always wrong. The Zestimate doesn't take everything into account, and it takes some things into account that don't matter. So you need to get a realistic price. The best way to do that is to talk to someone like me, of course, a realtor who can give you a what we call a CMA, a market analysis, and that entails us looking at the market, looking at what's on the market, looking at what's sold, and coming up with a reasonable, logical, marketable price for your home. So that's the first thing you need to think about, is how much are you going to sell the house for? Another thing in that you need to think about is what's your bottom dollar? And this is what I tell a lot of my clients is, when you're thinking about pricing the home, start from the bottom up. How much do you owe on the home? All right, because you've got to at least get your payoff, or you're going to have to cough up some cash on your own. So start with that, and then look at what the market is going to bear, and that's going to tell you what your profit margin is. If you've got a house that you owe 150 on and it will sell in the 200 range, you're in a good spot. You're going to have about 50,000 in equity before the various costs to close. So what is the price? What are you going to sell the house for? Second is, what's the condition of your house, and what do you need to do to the house to make it marketable? Now, every house, even new construction, might have some issues. What I recommend is you get someone who's not familiar with your house and you give them a tour. You let them walk through the house and look at it with fresh eyes, because you live there every day. Chances are there are things wrong with the house or issues with the house that may not be issues to you, but would be an issue to someone thinking about buying the house. What you need to do is you need to look at your home through the eyes of a potential buyer. Okay, so that's why it's a good idea to get someone, an impartial third party, if you will, to walk through the house, look at things like the condition, the carpets, the floors, the paint, the cabinetry, because I got to tell you, when someone walks through your house from the viewpoint of a potential buyer, they're looking at it with a very critical eye, meaning they're looking for things that they can point out that will lower the cost. Well, the house needs painting. The carpet is worn. The hardwoods are scuffed. The kitchen is out of date. Look at the house with a critical eye, because I guarantee you that's the way most realtors and most buyers are going to look at your house. So the question becomes, do you sell the house as is, or do you make improvements? Paint is relatively cheap. Flooring is not terribly expensive. Whatever you can do cosmetically to make the house more appealing to the buyer, I would do, if at all possible. Otherwise, you are putting that buyer in a position of being someone who's coming in to do improvements. And not everyone wants to take on a fixer-upper, even if it's just something as simple as paint. So look at it from the buyer's point of view. What improvements do you need to make to the house to make it more marketable? Because if you've got a house that really no one can find fault with, they're not going to have a reason to try to work you down on price, or a reason to walk away. You would think that people could see the bones of a house and just tell that a little paint is going to be a great house. Not everyone has that vision, and not everyone wants to take that on. So are you going to make improvements, or are you going to sell the house as is, with the understanding that the condition of the house is going to drive the price? This goes back to the first question: what can you ask for the house? Well, a lot of it has to do with improvements or the condition of the home. Number 3, we've got price, we've got improvements, we've got time frame. When do you need to sell this home? What time of year are you in? For example, right now we're middle of December. We're a couple of weeks out from Christmas. Not a lot going on in real estate right now. We've actually taken some listings this month, but not a lot going on. So you have to look at, okay, how quickly do I need to sell my house? Do I need to get out quick? Do you have a job offer out of town, or some other reason why you want to sell quickly? Or can you take a few months? Now, it's better if you have the time to make the improvements we talked about, to let you declutter the house, get things moved out. 30 to 60 to 90 days, I think, is always a good time frame. But again, that depends on you and your particular situation. Keeping in mind that the speed at which a house sells is often driven by price and the condition of the house, our first two. So think about, what is your time frame. The faster you need to sell, you are in more of a, I don't want to say a weaker bargaining position, but you do have that little desperation factor there. So what's the time frame? Finally, are you going to sell the house on your own, or are you going to list it with a realtor? Now, for sale by owners, what we call FSBOs in the business, typically people want to sell the home on their own so they can save the commission. I understand it, been there, done that. Commissions can be really high. Even with someone like us, we are a flat fee listing company, which means rather than charging 3% to list, our fees are considerably lower. So that's what you got to think about when you're for sale by owner. But keep this in mind: 95% of FSBOs, after languishing on the market for several months, typically list with a realtor. So there comes a point when you're a FSBO that you are either tired of no activity, or you're tired of just getting phone calls from realtors, or you're tired of lowball investors. You finally get to the point where you go, screw this, I'm going to get a realtor and take it off my hands. So you can certainly sell a home on your own if it's the right house at the right price, in the right condition, at the right time. But most houses do list with a realtor. So then there's a fifth thing you have to think about, is which realtor are you going to allow to list your house? Here in Madison County, we've got, 3,000 realtors? So it's a very broad field. What I recommend is you interview several realtors. You pick 3, you get recommendations from friends. Don't necessarily call people because their faces are on billboards, or you watch them on TV, or you hear ads. Get recommendations, ask for referrals, and then sit down with that realtor. Let him come through, look at your house, and then say, what can you do for me? What are you going to do to sell my house quickly, for the most amount of money, in the shortest amount of time? And any realtor will sit down with you and give you their dog and pony show, including me. I'll sit down with you and tell you everything we do at Revolved to sell houses quickly at top of the market. So there you go. It is, what price are you going to charge? What condition is the house? What is your time frame for selling? Are you going to do it by yourself, or are you going to use a realtor? And who is that realtor going to be? So I started out with 4. I think I got to 5 or 6. So, hey, that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below, or contact me directly. 679-0704 is my number. Tim@revolved.com. As always, check out our website, revolved.com. We have a ton of things there for you. You can search for homes. You can watch videos. You can download all kinds of stuff. Hey, we are here to serve you and to help you answer all those questions. All right, that's going to do it. I'm going to drink my nice warm beverage and stay warm, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.